here is your Deep Sentinel mount in its default position. What we're going to do is explore some different ways of positioning this mount so we can accomplish different objectives. Here is the mount and its standard up arrow. We are going to be pointing the up arrow in various directions depending on the specific application here, because these are some of the different advanced types of positions you can put the camera in. So here's your standard position. You mount it directly to the surface, and this is an illustrative eave here, pointed slightly down. Now you'd be able to capture a door, a side yard, or a garage using this type of position. But let's say, for example, I could only mount it to this surface. Would there be a way for me to capture looking around the corner? And so what we have here is we've got a bunch of different articulations here. The first one is what we call the loop or the ring around the camera. The mount actually rotates around the camera. And so one of the ways that we could use this is by placing the mount with the arrow pointed towards the edge and bring the camera around to point horizontally around a corner. Another example you could do is you could do something similar here, where we point the arrow horizontally instead of up, and we can now point the camera outward and down from almost any surface. A more complex example would be if we needed to mount the camera from an eave downward facing. So for example, here's again the default position where we could point the camera slightly down. But if we need a further downward angle, well, all you do is you take this notch here, twist the mount around, and now the camera can point downward at a more extreme angle. Again, all of these are supported by the single screw and these 3 pressure points. So whenever you screw it to a surface, make sure that you get that screw in first and get the mount secure. Another advanced position you can use with this loop at the top positioning is what I call back in, which is that if you actually want to point the camera kind of inversely what you're normal to, instead of away from the mount, the base of the mount, you actually point it towards the base of the mount. This might be, for example, from a tall eave where the area you want to protect is underneath the eave. You can actually turn the camera around and point it back towards the mounting surface of the mount. The last scenario that I will highlight will be the complex side-angled scenarios where, for example, if you're mounting the camera from a diagonal surface like the inside of an eave, you might want to have the camera articulate to a 45-degree angle. And so you can mount the mount, I can't actually see it here, so I'm doing my best blind here. You can mount the mount to this diagonal surface and then rotate the ring. So again, you still have the speaker above the camera. You have your siren above the camera. That's important to always have it that way. But now you can accomplish some unique angles, still having the ability to point it downward. So as you can see, the Deep Sentinel mounting system is both very simple in the basic scenario where you have it mounted to the surface and pointed away, but it's also very versatile. You have this combination of the ring, and you have a constant pressure ball joint where you can mount it to almost any surface.